Yep, and with that win, that means that every team that we cover won at least one game.
There you go.
We used to cover one team.
We
They went years without a win.
I don't think we ever covered a Creek Bridge win.
I don't think so either.
I think at one point that we even offered
to buy them food,
to buy the entire football team food, and I think they lost in like the last few seconds of the game.
That was tough. So. Hi everyone, welcome back to Two Guys Talking Sports. Jordan, this is it. We're coming down to the last week.
I think before we get into that, we need to thank this episode sponsor, M&M Lawn Care, Austin Miller. I know he's done a lot of work for Luke. I saw the Facebook post that Luke made, contacted Austin, said, hey, this is before I sold my house. Come out here, let's sit down, let's talk about some things. He came out. It made the process super simple, planting my bushes, extending my flower beds, and I was coming up to pay him. He had his boys out there cutting my grass.
And then he came to my house.
I mean,
did mine too. Completely changed the way that the yard looked.
Yeah, it does. I mean, he does magic out there.
And he's in and out. It ain't like an all day, like a long. I mean, he's got it going and it's going fast.
And he tells you when he's going to be there. He tells you when he's going to get started, and you can count on him. That's when he's going to be there. So for your landscaping needs, call M&M Lawn Care, Austin Miller.
Yep. All right, let's jump into this past week's games. Dillon traveled down to Waccamaw, 38-14 victory.
I was expecting the Cats to put up a little more points than that, but there's really no need for it.
I agree. Yeah, I think that they're kind of these last few weeks are going to get those starters a little bit more rest, where they know, hey, we don't have to go out there and play the starters the whole game to win these games. They got Georgetown coming up that hasn't won a game all year, so it's not going to surprise me this coming up week if we see a low score there either.
But this is coaching and teaching moments for the Dillon staff and the young Dillon players that you'll see because you in football you're one snap away.
Yeah.
So that
get some experience.
Exactly, get some experience because there's no telling when your number's going to be called.
Yeah, I agree. So another victory for the Wildcats. I think that does make them the region champs now.
No surprise there.
Yeah, none at all. They will take on Georgetown this coming up week. And this coming up week is the last week of the regular season, so after that we'll be covering the playoffs. Mullins went down to King Street and, boy, 62-0.
Yeah, Mullins football struggled a little bit this year.
Yeah.
They got that one win under the belt. We thought they were going to pick up a little momentum, a little bit of steam. It's just been a tough year for the Auctioneers.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they just, and I think it goes back to the summer. I think that they were still kind of dealing with some injuries, maybe some. I know even at the beginning of the year when we tried to get the head coach on for the show, he had some COVID issues that he personally was dealing with. So I think that kind of it just throws it off when you can never, get in a groove and get going. But look for Mullins to bounce back next season for sure.
This is definitely going to be a building season for Mullins. Don't look for them to stay down another year.
Yeah, I agree. PD took on Northwoods, traveled down to Northwoods, 34-8 victory, and I'm pretty sure that wraps up the region for them. They'll take on Florence Christian this week, but PD coming in or going up to Class 3A this year. I know we've talked about it multiple times. They didn't know how they were going to do, and here they are sitting at 8-1.
One loss on the season.
Yeah, region champs.
In a new region.
Yeah.
Moving up in class. You can't say enough good things about the coaching staff, the way that they prepare the kids over there, or the players, what they're doing for that football team.
Yeah, I agree. It really does speak a lot, like you said, the coaches, staff, to be able to make that transition, and they didn't miss a beat.
No.
I mean, they're right back, going to be trying to compete for a state title, just like they were in 2A. And to do it at another level, that's impressive. So congratulations to the Eagles. They'll take on Florence Christian this coming up week to close out the season. Surprise here, Lakeview took on Lamar and 14-7, and they got a loss there.
Okay, so this is the 8th year in a row that Lamar has won the region. But the way that Lamar won that game against Lakeview was very controversial, and it's actually some of the things that happened is very uncharacteristic for a Lakeview football team. Lakeview was inside the 5-yard line 3 or 4 times and could not score the football. So Lakeview actually ties it up with about 30 seconds to go in the game. They throw an out pass. The guy catches the ball, runs it in for a touchdown. One referee standing in the end zone throws up for a touchdown. The other one saying, no, called a timeout. Whistle never blew. They said that Lamar called a timeout. There's a lot of people that are upset in Lakeview with the way that shook out, and with to lose a ball game like that with 30 seconds left, I'd have to have some answers.
I would too. And there's more than 2 referees on the field. You would think that they could come together and say, "Hey, look, you might have seen or heard, but the rest of us didn't."
And from what I've heard, and I've watched a clip of the video. In the video, I don't hear a whistle.
Right.
The fans that were there said they never heard a whistle.
Right.
Obviously the line judge, he never heard a whistle. Lakeview caught the ball, ran it in, played until that whistle blew. They huddle, take it off the board, take the points off the board.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, for Lakeview to get inside the 5-yard line that many times and come out with 0 points,
got to punch it in.
Tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, that is tough. We knew this was going to be a close game. We knew this one was for the region, so obviously I thought Lakeview was going to pull it out there. But yeah, you get the ball to the 5-yard line multiple times, you got to put some sort of points on the board, even if it's field goals.
Well, we know Lakeview's never been known for kicking the football.
Yeah, but that goes back to what, week 1 when we talked about Dillon's one of their players of the week that Coach Roller had was the kicker because he made those 5 field goals. Those sometimes, you look at it, you put up 9 points, tacked on to you 7. You win the ball game.
Right, I understand.
But yeah, losing's always tough. But when there's something controversial, especially at the very, very end of the game,
heartbreaking loss.
It's tough to take.
But I guarantee you, Coach can use that as a learning experience.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And Lakeview will be coming to play with a chip on their shoulders.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Green Sea this week because not Green Sea. Lakeview will play on Hannah Pamplico.
Yeah, Hannah Pamplico, they're not going to deserve what's about to happen.
Yeah, I agree. There's going to be a lot of ticked off players coming into that one. Marion was on a bye. Latta also on the bye. And the big one this week, the Warriors got it. 38-12. Went down to Conway. Got the win. They're only one of the year. Most likely going to probably be the only one of the year. But still, that had to be a good feeling for the boys.
After a long, hard-fought season of just getting thumped week in and week out.
And the last 2 weeks just coming down to the wire.
Losing some close ones. I'm sure that was very rewarding.
Yeah.
I texted Coach Hardy after the game, and I said, "Congratulations, Coach," because I saw him the day before in food line. I said, "This is your week. This is your week. It's coming. It's coming, Coach." So the whole staff, kids, congratulations to the Warriors. Maybe they can pull out one more this year.
I hope so, but it's going to be tough. They'll take on Thomas Sumter this coming up week. But either way, like I said, they were so young, so inexperienced. The last 2 weeks we thought they had them, a victory, and so you could tell though out of everything they've grown.
They have.
They've grown. They've gotten better as the season progressed, and sometimes when you go through a year like that, that's all you want to see.
Look for a good, strong football team out of Dillon Christian next year.
Yep, and with that win, that means that every team that we cover won at least one game.
There you go.
We used to cover one team.
They
went years without a win.
I don't think we ever covered a Creek Bridge win.
I don't think so either.
I think at one point that we even offered
to buy them food.
To buy the entire football team food, and I think they lost in like the last few seconds of the game.
That was tough. So, but that wraps up this week's recap. Before we get into our picks for the last week, we want to shout out our next segment sponsor, and that's Black's Tire. You got Alan Stevens is their manager. Oil changes, tires, whatever you need. I know people think of Black's Tire as a big chain because they're all over the place. But you got local people that work there,
I think
and even though it's a chain,
in Whiteville, North Carolina.
Yeah, even though it's a chain, they run it as if it's a local place.
That's right.
So if any kind of car needs that you have, if you don't already have a place, swing on over to Black's Tire. See what they can do for you.
Ask to see Alan.
All right, let's jump into these picks. Last week of the regular season, Dillon will take on Georgetown. Dillon 9-0, Georgetown winless.
I'm going to go with the Cats.
Yeah, I am too. But, like we said earlier, don't expect, when we come on here next week to be 62-0. It might be another, 35-14, something like that. Lakeview 6-3, taking on Hannah Pamplico. And Hannah Pamplico's 4-5. Lakeview's, like we just said, they mad.
After that loss, I'm taking the Gators.
Yeah, I'm going to take Lakeview as well, especially trying to get right going into the playoffs. Latta, 5-4, will take on Green Sea, who's 1-8. And this is a big game for Latta because I'm not really sure how the playoffs will kind of shake out. I know Latta's kind of sitting in that third spot right now behind Lamar and Lakeview. So I think there's one team, if Latta doesn't get this win, they could get jumped. They still might get in. I'm not sure. Like I said, the playoffs are always kind of crazy in high school the way they work. Sometimes you got teams, with 0 wins or 1 win that gets in. But either way, you want to win and secure that spot.
I'm going to take the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm going to take Latta as well, especially coming off a bye. PD 8-1 takes on Florence Christian, who's 4-5. And this Florence Christian team was hyped up big time coming into this year.
Didn't they beat Trinity Burns to start at the beginning of the year?
They had some big wins at the beginning, but when teams are playing them in jamborees and stuff, obviously they'll play some public schools, and they were playing pretty good. I think they even beat Marion in one of the. I could be wrong on that. I think they played them or beat them something, because everybody was talking about how good of a team that Florence Christian was. 4-5. Tough year for them, it looks like. I'm going with the Eagles.
Well, they're both the Eagles.
Well, I'm going with PD.
I'm taking PD Academy as well, but don't look for it to be a blowout win.
Yeah. And this could be one where PD jumps out quick and does the same thing that Dillon does, where they know kind of what their spot is.
I think this is going to be a hard-fought game.
Yeah, could be. Florence Christian, I'm not sure if they went up to 4A or not.
Florence Christian is a good football team.
Yeah. DCS 1-7, coming off their first victory. They'll travel down to Thomas Sumter, who's 4-5. I know DCS did get a player that they haven't had all year. Could he be a difference to get them another win?
I'm gonna go with the Warriors. I just got to do it. I got to give them just a little bit of faith. They got that one win. I'm gonna give it to the Warriors.
Well, we're currently sitting at 38-12 both.
I know.
I'm gonna go with Thomas Sumter, and this might be the one that decides our regular season picks. I'm going with Thomas Sumter. I think that'll just be a little bit too much for the Warriors. And biggest game of the week, even though the records won't say it, but the Tobacco Bowl is this week. Marion will take on Mullins at Mullins. Marion 7-2, coming off a bye, taking on Mullins, who just got thumped by Kingstree, 1-8 on the year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got to go with the Swamp Foxes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Swamp Foxes too. They've just been way too good all year. And Mullins is going through kind of the same thing that DCS is going through right now.
I'm telling you, Dillon Christian's going to win this ball game this week.
Listen, I hope that they do.
Dillon Christian's going to win.
I hope that they do. I want them to win. I just got to go ahead and try and get this. This is the one. I let you come back on me.
No, you didn't let me do anything.
Yeah, I let you come back. I made some conservative picks.
You caught some L's.
Now we both 38-12. So that'll be the deciding game.
Yeah, this is the game.
You're taking the Warriors.
I'm taking the Warriors to
pull you through.
That's right.
All right. Well, that wraps up this week's show. Again, if you need your lawn taken care of, M&M Lawn Care. If you need your car taken care of, head over to Black's Tire. Next week, we'll wrap up this week of high school football and look forward to the postseason. Cover 4 will be Thursday night, so join us then.